I want to talk about this video that I think I've seen a few people share this. This is a Lionel. I forget your last name, Lionel. Lionel Media. I like Lionel. I do. I don't care. I mean, he's a bit. I mean, he's a conservative. I like conservatives, some of them, and I like him fair, more or less. He's a bit shrill, but he's not as shrill as maybe a lot of others. But he says, "Do you think this is appropriate for children?" Now, the interesting thing is, when I first got on it, all I saw was the part where this person is there. This part right here where the person is crawling towards the little girl. Now, at that point, I think it's a female. This person is a female. Now, I'm saying person because I'm not sure if this person, like, do they identify as a female? Or do they? Is this a drag queen or is this a woman in transition? I'm not sure. So I don't know how to address a person in those terms. But from there, when I saw it was a woman, I was like, immediately, I was like, well, I don't get it. And like, I wasn't necessarily thinking, even though her little outfit there was skimpy, that I don't know that skimpy outfit necessarily is like, even, you wear what she's got going on there. I'll just say she. Just I'll just say that just probably or I don't know. I'll just say she. I'm sure she won't be offended even if she is a drag queen. I call her she. So I think that's fair. So anyway, I think that when I thought it was a woman, like a biological, everything all matched up, your identity, your biology, all that matched up. So a biological, that type of woman. All the stuff is in sync, so to speak. I immediately did not think that was a problem until, and then once I realized that it was a man, I mean, that's a biological man. I think we all know that. And that's, this is how I would think, a man. Then all of a sudden, immediately, I was like, wait a second. And I was like, well, why? Now, I'm not necessarily, I don't fault anyone who believes in their standard that societies should necessarily welcome this type of display for little girls, as far as a display of someone who is clearly biologically male demonstrating clearly female tendencies. And I'm not making a value judgment about it one way or another. If you're looking at it as an organism type of phenomenon, it certainly would be literally in the eye of the beholder. But if you remove those constructs, the fact that this is a man demonstrating femaleness, if this is a woman, like that's, I guess that would be the challenge I would ask someone to do that. Like, if this is a female, is this action appropriate? If a female is doing this in front of a little girl, if a female is doing this in front of a little boy, and I think that you can make a case that the like this thing right here, is this sexual? Is this like a sexual come hither kitty? I don't read it that way. I read it more as like a cartoony type of kitty. Like that's how I read it immediately when I first saw, and especially when I thought it was a woman. It was only when I realized it was a man that I immediately began to doubt myself. But honestly, like I asked myself that question. So like, as far as like, I think you could make a much more universal appeal to not offering children sexualizations. Let's not do that. Let's not get kids thinking about sex. Now, thinking about your sexuality in and of itself is not necessarily thinking about sex, but we don't want people doing sexy dances in front of kids. Period. And the question is this a sexy dance in front of a kid? I don't really think. Now, I'd have to see more. Maybe if I saw the whole thing, I would change my mind, but I don't think. So the fundamental problem. Then if it's not the sexy sexes, which I think you could make an argument, a pretty reasonable argument, that this is a sexy sexes. And if you think that, then you're going to think this is inappropriate. I'd probably be more inclined to believe you'd have more universal support if you could make that case, and you could make that case with many, and even me, I still kind of waver as to, I don't know. I think that ultimately, though, that it looks more like a playful dance than it's not a sexy dance. So therefore, it's not inappropriate. Then the next part is, do you want a male demonstrating femininity in front of a little girl? And that's not really for an individual to decide for anyone but themselves. And I guess the question is, what is the aggregate assumption? I certainly would not want aggregate assumptions that are coercively enforced. And to a degree, this is kind of being coercively enforced, and I am not for that. But the aggregate assumptions regarding the biological male's capacity to demonstrate femininity, I think on the mean, most people are kind of like, I don't know. I think there's in general, it's kind of becoming more not inappropriate. And ultimately, appropriate and inappropriate is defined. Well, first and foremost, it's defined by the individual, and then aggregate assumptions emerge from a collection of individual actions and expressions. And so I'm not so much interested in whether you think this is appropriate or inappropriate, as I like these types I think this is a gray area for a lot of people, a lot more people than ever before, who are trying to understand all of these dimensions of humanity, and including our sexual expression, our gender expression, all that stuff, and in more of a, kind of a clinical kind of organism analysis type of way, as we delve deeper into the nuance of the innate biological potential expression of the human. That's essentially what we're discovering here. So anyway, I'm not standing for or against this per se in this video. I will say that for me, I would probably generally not favor. I guess I can say I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't generally favor society for for a list of what I believe are self-serving practical reasons, lionizing and lifting up and celebrating these different these rarer expressions of human gender, sexuality, and how gender and that all that matches up. I'm not necessarily for celebrating the 10%, whatever it is, differences, and holding it up as something that we should admire. I'm not for laws preventing everybody from doing it if you want to. I'm not for stigmatizing it, though. And I don't like, so within those parameters where I don't want to lift it up and I don't want to stigmatize it, I don't think this is any of those. I don't think it lifts it up. I don't think it stigmatizes it. I think it's just, I don't know. It's just a variation of expression. And this isn't like, oh, this kid in the end doesn't have to choose to express this, to accept this variation or prefer this variation or whatever. But I guess I'll say, I guess I'd have to say, I think it looks okay. Unless I see something later that this thing is way beyond what I thought it was. But there you have it, folks. I just wanted to share that and use my phone to do it because why not?